Today we're going to be doing a craft vlog. I did a lot of videos like this earlier in my channel. I've only had this channel for about a year now, but my original plan for this channel was for it to just be like a craft channel in general. But then my sewing and my thrift flip videos were doing really well, so I just kept doing those. But I decided I need to make content that also feeds my own soul and not just the YouTube algorithm. So hello and welcome. My name is Bianca and this is a place to inspire and to be inspired. I love all things crafting and creating on a budget. Some of you may know this, but Joann's fabric store is going out of business. I think they may be keeping their online store, but I think they're closing a lot of their brick and mortar stores. And the one by me is having a ton of sales right now. So we're gonna go in today to stock up on some craft supplies at a discounted price. For today's crafts, I was thinking of making a crochet beanie, a beaded bag charm or keychain, and then I have some air dry clay left over from a previous project and I want to use up the rest of that, so we're gonna do some air dry clay as well. For the beanie, I was thinking of doing something like this, maybe challenging myself and doing a checkered print, or maybe just keeping it a solid color and having it be a little bit easier of a project to do. I don't know, I'm leaning towards challenging myself and doing a checkered print because I think that would be really fun. We're going on a snowboarding trip next month and I think it would be cool to wear a beanie that I made myself. And then for our beaded keychain or bag charm, I have this bag that I got from Amazon and it came with this little cherry charm that you can put on the bag. And I just want to make my own charm that I can also add to that. And I was thinking something like one of these. And then for the air dry clay, I was thinking something like this, maybe some for bigger photos and then some for the little tiny ones that I like to print out. So I already have the air dry clay, but at Joann's, I want to look for some acrylic paint because once the air dry clay is completely dry, I'm going to go in and paint it. And then I also want to find some kind of gloss that I can put over it to kind of give it like a shiny finish. All right, so our next stop is Joann's.
Yeah, that one's staying over for Chinese.
I got 3 spools of this, like, I don't know what you would call this. It's kind of like a greenish grayish beige. But I needed this specific color for a sewing project. I got this little self-watering planter. I want to put one of my orchids in here. These light green candlesticks with the pressed flowers on them. I figured I could put one of these up here in my little candlestick holder. This whole bag is just full of different acrylic paints that I picked up. And then back to this bag, we have these 2 colors for our checkered beanie. And then everything else in this bag is going to be for our beaded project. I think the first project I want to do is I want to work on my air dry clay because I figured once I finish with that, it can start drying while I work on the other projects. And I think while I do this, I'm going to listen to an audiobook. I started to get a little bit bored of Gossip Girl, but since I'm doing a craft day, I feel like it might be a good time to start an audiobook because I could probably get at least halfway through today and then maybe finish the other half tomorrow. So this one that I found is called Local Woman Missing. It has 200,000 views, a lot of good comments, so we're gonna listen to Local Woman Missing while we make some air dry clay.
By Mary Kavica. Prologue. 11 years before. She says nothing about it. Machine piercing fabric. Feeding her at the last minute so that she won't wake hungry while she's gone. She goes out the front door, only the first block, so that if he's watching out the bedroom window, is what she's doing as obvious as the lipstick on his shirt.
The air dry clay that I'm using for this project is the Craft Smart air dry clay, and I'm pretty sure I picked it up from either Michael's Craft Store or Hobby Lobby. It's not my favorite to work with. It does have these little textured pieces in it. It kind of reminds me of paper mache. And when you try to cut it and get a straight line, it leaves all these jagged little pieces that you have to smooth out later. And I just find the texture of this air dry clay kind of difficult to work with. It is the only air dry clay that I've used, but I have a feeling that there are other brands that might be a little bit better. So if you've tried air dry clay, let me know what brand is your favorite. And now I'm just gonna wait a couple days for these to dry and then we can start painting them. I feel like we have a lot of blues in here, but I don't want it to be mostly blue. I want little pops of blue, but I do want a lot of like earthy tones. I think I'm gonna start organizing these beads by color so that I can determine which ones I want to use. I couldn't decide between making this with 3 strands of beads or just 2 strands of beads. I did put together 3 strands of beads, but I just felt like it was too busy. So I took my favorite ones out of those and then just did 2 strands. I think I finally organized these in a way that I like. And I'm gonna use this as my clasp. And then I'm going to use this light blue leather cord. Moving on to our crochet beanie. I'm going to follow somebody else's tutorial. I will put it right here so that you guys can follow along if you want to. The first thing we need to do is chain 46. So after I chained 46, I went back and then I started doing my half double crochets in each of the loops. And I did 4, and now I need to pick up my next color. So this is something that's new to me. I haven't really done a project where I'm working with 2 colors at one time. Let me watch what she does. I'm going to pick up my new color. So then she pulls the new color through all 3 of these loops. I think I've redone this portion 5 times now. And at some point last night, I decided I didn't want to do the checkered pattern because I couldn't figure it out and I kept messing it up. So I decided I would just do a yellow version because I found a very, very simple pattern that was super easy to follow and I got the hang of it really quickly. And this was the super simple video that I followed for the single color. I'm kind of simultaneously doing this one and this one because I figured if only this one turns out good, at least I will have something to show you guys. But best case scenario, I will get this one completed and my checkered beanie will actually look cute. And then I can also have a solid color. So that's where we are right now. As I'm working on this, I am having doubts. All right, I'm officially throwing in the towel for the checkered pattern. I have had to redo so many rows on this because I keep misaligning the checkered pattern. So this has become too frustrating for it to be enjoyable for me. We're just gonna move along and continue making our yellow beanie. I am definitely still a beginner when it comes to crocheting, and that checkered beanie was just so difficult for me to figure out. So now that we've made it wide enough to wrap around our head, now we can attach these sides together. She does a slip stitch up to where she wants to fold it, and then she turns it inside out and then continues the slip stitch. That way from the good side, you don't see the seam. The tutorial for the single color beanie was actually really simple to follow along to. And I can cut this now because we're gonna be using this to close off our opening here. This will be the top of our beanie. So now I'm going to get my little yarn needle. And now we're just going to weave in and out of these at the top. And we're gonna go around the whole perimeter and then we can pull it tight to close it. Now that we've gone all the way around, now we can pull this tight. I think she's so cute. She looks very teeny tiny, but it is stretchy, so I think it'll be fine once we put her on. It's definitely more like one of those fisherman beanies because there's not a lot of height to it. I do like how it turned out. I just wish that it had a little bit more height because right now I have to pull it down as far as it can go just to cover my ears. I will definitely add a little bit of extra height for my next one. And if I'm able to make another beanie before I finish editing this video, I will also show you guys the other one that I make. And our air dry clay is almost dry. So I'm hoping by the end of today or tomorrow morning we can start painting. All of my clay pieces are finally dry and I went ahead and did just a white coat on all of them as like a primer, I guess. I want these frames to have somewhat of a color scheme or like a matching pattern or something to kind of tie them in together.
Feel standing outside it. Josh is a sound sleeper.
Here's how everything turned out. These three kind of go together with the color scheme, and then the vase, and then my little noodle bowl. These kind of match with the same pattern, and then this can be taken off. So my little ramen bowl can be used as like a trinket dish. I have no idea what I'm going to do with this, but I just thought that it would be fun to make. And then I made this tiny little vase. And then for my smaller frame, I also used the same color scheme as those. And then I feel like these three also go together as like a little color scheme. And I did finish the audiobook for Local Woman Missing. I think it was a really good story, but the characters annoyed me. Most of the time I was getting frustrated because I was like, who would actually do that? You know, when you're watching a movie or reading a book and the characters just do really stupid stuff and you're like, no one would really do that. I kind of felt like that, but the storyline was good. Also, I was able to finish my green beanie in time. And this one I did make a little bit longer than this one. This one actually fits perfectly. I don't know, I think it would be kind of cool to make a bunch of these and then sell them maybe. So let me know if you guys would be interested in buying beanies, possibly. So that is it for today's craft vlog, and until next week, bye!